Hi, my friends. Welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi. Hello. And our energy mantra for today is I take time to ground my mind. All right. So, hi. It's good to see you. Sort of, I guess. See by hand, right? I was going to come on and record full time and processing some information we just got, so this is the way you're getting me. But today we are working with our Mercury shift. So Mercury will be moving back into Capricorn for the next, I guess it's about 3 weeks until Valentine's Day, actually, February 14th. Before that, Mercury will be hanging out at the 0 degree of Aquarius all day. So between 0 degree wonk and Mercury retrograde energy, the day may have an overall wonky quality. And I would say with the strong Aquarius mental stimulating vibrations going on, taking time to ground, making sure you are like in your body, that'll be really helpful for staying in balance. I'm actually going to show you the top of the cards I have is the schizophrenia card, the Two of Swords. It's usually a card of like this or that or this or that, and getting caught up of which way should I go, what should I do, and the wisdom of this card is fall into the center, fall into your heart. But I feel like this fall that we're called to do is into the body, just to help support any overwhelming mental process going on in and through these energies. Mercury back into Capricorn is, again, where we have responsibility to our mental energy and using our mental energy to help support our mission, to help support purpose. But that responsibility portion is so important. So often we let the mind run wild, and it can be influenced by so many things, and some of those things are under our control and some of those things are not under our control. And so that responsibility piece is very key in and through this energy. So over these next few weeks with Mercury back in here, how can you work on aligning your mind, aligning the power of your mind with your purpose, recognizing how much that brings you into service, right? Besides this going on, the rest of everything else is connecting to just all the rest. It's all connecting to the moon in Scorpio. And the moon in Scorpio is reminding us that while we are called into our power, part of doing that work, part of the work of empowerment, is recognizing our shadow and our light. And that's our next card that we have, the adventure card. And I always say this card is like where we're moving into the light. But see, there are these shadows around that need to be moved through. The noise you hear in the background is a very playful kitten, by the way. So the moon in Scorpio is making all kinds of connections. Connection to the sun, that's a square. We're starting the day with that. We'll dig into these after I go through them. A trine with Jupiter, opposition with Uranus, sextile with Venus, and then another square with Saturn. So that sun, both the sun and moon square and the Saturn and the moon square, these are the Aquarius Scorpio squares. And it's always interesting because Aquarius feels all the vibes. And Aquarius ultimately is like, utopia, that's what I want. And Scorpio is, again, where we're reminded that we can't get to utopia without, facing the dust bunnies, the big dust bunnies, under the bed, meaning our shadow energies. So take the time. We find balance in being able to go there and being able to shift from that place. I then love that the moon is then connecting to Jupiter. And it's like, okay, do your work. And then it's like, and hey, and then there's really good things that can come for you on the other side. That being said, our intuition is probably going to be very strong today. Tune in. How can you best serve yourself today and in through this? I'm kind of getting that with this adventure card, as well as the We Are the World card. So serve yourself here, and then serve others. I'm laughing because Wolf plays fetch, and so Joe is throwing Wolf's little mouse, and you're hearing her go crazy as she finds it and brings it back to him. Okay, then we move into the moon opposite Uranus. This is where some of those shadows, some of those dust bunnies may get triggered for looking at. So again, your work is to be present with yourself. I have the Mastery card, and I'm really feeling that in this energy. None of us have this whole shadow thing mastered. Seriously, no one. No one. Because there are always things, outside of our expectation, outside of our experience that come up that we need to move through. But our work is to be present in there. So watch today where those triggers are coming up, because that's where you are being called into this work at this time. And it's never Uranus energy, Scorpio energy, neither of them are ever about like pointing those fingers out there anywhere else. It's always right here, right back at the self. This is where the self is, where the power is to make these shifts. Moon and Venus. Venus has been finishing up retrograde all this week, 11 degrees. That's part of that master number too, I'm sure. Venus in Capricorn. Yes, tending to the self, commitment to the self, the responsibility to yourself, to your relationship with yourself. All the other outside things can come after that. Bring it back home. Bring it back home to you, babies. Okay. And then we end up the day with that moon square Saturn. So another one of those squares. Like I said, the square, it's the challenge. There's a challenge. There's a part of ourselves that doesn't want to go there. There's a part of yourself that is so afraid to look beneath the shiny exterior of something. So whether it's something about yourself, whether it's something about somebody else, there's a part of you that's afraid to look. But I think ultimately you're going to find, again, something that has so much more potential when you're willing to go there, when you're willing to look into this place. I think it's been something that's been kind of suppressed and held back for a really long time. Here's the Rebel card. It's not going to be time to break through these chains yet. I am feeling with this. Right now is the initial work. Again, be willing to be present for yourself in this. Be willing to go there. And I'm feeling like through this week, especially, we have Mercury building into that conjunction this week with Pluto again. So we have some intensity building there. Venus finishing up her retrograde. I don't like to call Venus her, but we're just doing that for right now. Venus finishing up their retrograde. I don't know. Venus finishing up the retrograde process, and will be coming back towards this Pluto connection again. I will say this, especially looking at the world events that are happening. Going back and watching the video about the nodal shift, that's going to be important. Keep coming back to that wisdom that we're being called to move beyond fear, beyond being moved by fear. Check your motivation. South Node in Scorpio. What is your motivation? Is it fear or is it love? And where can we lean into the earth with that North Node in Taurus energy? Where can we lean into beauty and pleasure? And I know I'm saying, like, don't be afraid to go to the dark side. It's absolutely true. We need to look at those places so that we can ultimately work these polarities. So keep that in the back of your mind as we are building into these plutonic events. So I'm going to leave that there for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And I still have to figure out my new North Node in Taurus. But I think it's just going to be like align with your highest values. Namaste.